In case you guys were wondering, this headset isn't actually plugged in. The reason I'm wearing it is because one, it just feels right, and two, I feel like it's very fitting for today's video, how you can make more cold calls in your sales job. Today on my team meeting, my sales manager asked me to speak in front of the group and answer the question, how do you make so many calls in a day? How do you overcome that fear of calling? What tips and tricks do you have for efficiency? And that's what I'm going to share with you in today's video. This message is completely unscripted. I have no notes. I just wrote down the title on my note page and I said, let's get into it. I have no courses to sell you, no products, nothing. I work in software sales myself. I'm on the front lines in the trenches, making 30 to 50 cold calls a day as an account executive. As a sales development representative, I used to use this headset right here, over 45,000 total cold calls. I've set hundreds of meetings. I've been rejected thousands of times. And that's just a part of the job. That's the reality. One of my favorite cold calling principles is always make the ask. So I'm asking you right now to smash the like button below on today's video. Also, stick around until the end of the video and I have an important channel update that pertains to these cold call videos. Those of you who have been watching for a while and like those live cold calls would encourage you to stick around for that because I really want you to hear that message and update. First and foremost, when making cold calls, it is a numbers game, okay? It is a numbers game. The more calls you make, inevitably, the more meetings you are going to set. But keep in mind that you need to have perspective while calling. What I mean by perspective is if you walk into a day and you make 100 cold calls and you say, wow, I was so productive today. I made 100 calls, I had 10 live conversations, whatever it may be, but I didn't actually set any meetings. Cold calling output volume in and of itself is a vanity metric. It's more so virtue signaling. The title of this video most likely drew a lot of people in because they think, well, I'd like to be able to make more calls. You shouldn't be focused on necessarily making more calls. You should be focused on how do you make the existing calls you're making more efficient, more effective. One way to look at this is Moneyball metrics. When you are prospecting as an SDR, account executive, whatever you're doing, there's 4 key Moneyball metrics that you need to be aware of before we get into how you actually make more calls, and I'll share my efficiency hacks. First and foremost, answer rate. Of the amount of calls you make, what percentage of the people actually pick up? So if you make 100 cold calls in a day, the average answer rate should be around 8%. Really good. That is industry leading. Mine is personally 5-ish%, sometimes 6, sometimes closer to 4. So if you're making 100 calls, you're having less than 10 conversations. The next metric, which is probably the most important, which is set rate. Of those live conversations, how many meetings do you actually set? A good set rate is about 15%. I'm probably closer to 11 to 13%. So if we think about this, 100 calls in a day, we have 6 live conversations. We're setting 15% of those. Okay, we set 1.5 meetings per day. The next metric is show rate. So of those meetings we set, what percentage of the prospects actually show up to the initial meeting? And a good show rate should be about 75-80%. You definitely want people to show up to your meetings, and we've made videos talking about how to improve show rate, setting the reminders, adding value. And then also the final Moneyball metric is conversion rate. Of the meetings that actually take place, what percentage of meetings progress into qualified opportunities? You want between a 90 to 95% conversion rate, because if you're on these initial meetings and they're not converting to qualified opportunities, it's just a big waste of time. And if you think about all the effort activity that went into making 100 calls to inevitably have one qualified opportunity, you want to try and increase those different metrics where you can and become more efficient. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to subscribe for more sales videos just like these. As we think about the title of this video, how to actually make more sales calls, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I get it, Trent. We need to be efficient. We need to set more meetings. We need to be deadly on the phone. We need to accept the hangups as they take place. But how do I actually make more calls? And that is my specialty. That's where I really hold my experience onto, because early on in my career, I recognized that, look, I'm not more talented than anyone else. I don't have any connections. I don't have any special knowledge, but I do have extreme discipline and the desire to be great. So I said, I need to make more calls than everyone else. And that's how I got more efficient on the phones, by making more calls. In my job today as an account executive, the perception is, wow, you're busy, you are working deals, you are trying to progress opportunities, you're negotiating, you're doing demo, you're doing discovery, you're doing everything in the sales cycle, and that is true. That's what I'm doing. But a core pillar of success in software sales is pipeline generation. So you always got to stay disciplined with your cold calls. If you're an SDR or BDR, you're going to make disproportionately more cold calls than anything else because you need to set up meetings. So as you think about actually maximizing the calls you're making, this is what you do right here, guys. When you are making your dials, we use a tool called Outreach. They're not a sponsor, but I do like the platform. Maybe they should be a sponsor. If you're from Outreach, reach out. Let's maybe work out a deal here. But hey, I'm not selling anything. We're not selling anything. No partnerships here. So this is what you do. You press dial, you press call, and you worry about what you want to say afterwards. A lot of people have it twisted. A lot of people, before they make the cold call, they want to research. They want to look at the website. They want to look at the prospect's LinkedIn profile. They want to look at recent activity in the Salesforce account. Whatever it may be, that information may be helpful, but don't look at it. Put your head down and just start making calls. And then when you inevitably get people on the calls, figure out what you're going to say afterwards. That is the secret to making more calls. And then in order to actually have the calls to do that, a key component is prospecting. And by prospecting, I mean going into accounts and finding the right people to add to your sequence. A sequence is a combination of emails, calls. Most of my sequences are 6 emails, 6 calls. So over the course of 30 days, we're absolutely hammering the prospect. You will get their attention, especially when you start to work in the automated voice messages. We are deadly on those. Let me know in the comments below, what do you say for the voice message? Because I think a lot of people go back and forth on how do you actually leave a voice message. I have my thoughts, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts as well. When I think about adding prospects to sequence, you want to focus on either really big accounts that have high spend potential in industries you like, or warmth prospect-based prospecting. So looking at interesting moments, lost opportunities, title reports, some reason to warm up the conversation. And that's my thoughts on how to make more cold calls. It's purely a willpower thing. And if you say, I'm going to make more calls, then you'll go naturally make more calls, and it's up to you to decide you actually want to do that. Look, for those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, I want to be as honest with you as possible. I was asked by someone at my company, not going to name any names or describe anything more about the situation, but I was asked to stop posting live cold call videos. And naturally, it was really disappointing because these live cold call videos are appreciated and enjoyed by you guys, and they've even been celebrated by leaders at my company at our sales kickoffs because they help with enablement, talent attraction. Some of you watch this video and say, oh, maybe I want to go work for that company too because Trent really likes his experience as well. And then I also like to think that they're an inspiration to others to show that no matter how high up I go in my career, I'm going to continuously cold call and want to be a role model to you guys trying to find your dream sales job or just trying to get that next promotion. So I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, there will be no more live cold calls posted on this channel. It's super disappointing, but my hands are tied in a way, so it is what it is. We'll accept it, move on. We'll continue to deliver creative content. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm focused on providing value. So anyways, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, hit the like button below. Comment what you say for a voicemail, but if you don't know what to comment, I want you to comment the notebook emoji because I have like 4 notebooks around me that I'm looking at. So comment the notebook emoji if you don't know what to say. Subscribe to the channel for more sales videos. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to join networks. Follow me on TikTok. I really have that talk track down. See you guys. Bye.